Tonight on TNA Impact. It was the last Impact before Lockdown, the big pay-per-view next Sunday. How does TNA do? How did they do leading us in to the big show? Are we ready? Are we hyped up? Are we excited for the pay-per-view? Or was it another big letdown? The last 2 weeks have been a disaster. How did TNA do tonight? Let's find out right here and now. I'm Big Al, and this is your TNA Impact review. The first thing that we see on TNA Impact after two horrible F shows is Jeff Jarrett coming out, and once again he is obsessed with Sting. He wants to know why Sting has gone over to the dark side. I guess by that he means that Sting, went against Hogan and he put his hands on Dixie Carter. I don't know how much of a heel turn that is, but either way, Jarrett is obsessed with it and he wants to know. This was a pretty interesting segment as we followed Jarrett up into the rafters to see if he could find Sting. He got the upper hand on Sting up there, which was surprising. You would think that's Sting's territory, and he would be able to, surprise Jarrett, attack Jarrett. But Jarrett got the best of him, got him in the ring. Next thing you know, the lights go off, and Sting has a baseball bat, and he takes control. Jarrett gets a beat down, and we get a little hyped for Lockdown. This was more for the Team Hogan versus Team Flair thing. Sting got his little beat down. I guess maybe they're doing a program here with Sting and Jarrett. I don't want to say anything for sure with TNA because, they've been all over the place. But, the show started out good enough. We had Sting right off the bat, Jarrett right off the bat, who's a pretty good entertainer. And so I thought the first segment was pretty good. It got some hype for Hogan versus Flair, the two teams going at it at Lockdown. So that was decent. Then we had a promo from Ric Flair and Team Flair, which again, at least they're sort of sticking to the storyline here. They're not going all over the place. It's a little more coherent. So TNA was off to a pretty good start. But then they slowed down a little bit when the Wolfpack came into the picture. To their credit, they didn't have the Wolfpack talking a lot or jumping people, taking up too much time. But it was a little bit too much in my opinion. But we knew it was coming. It was Team 3D. They had a street fight against, Team 3D and Jesse Neal taking on the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack, or the band, I guess I should call them, get the victory. It was a pretty, silly match. The Wolfpack, or the band, is pretty much the worst part right now of TNA Impact. They have to either do something else with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, or they have to perhaps let them go. Maybe give Kevin Nash something else to do. I know he's a very good entertainer, so you could find something with him. And probably even Scott Hall and Waltman, but this isn't really it. They're not really wrestlers anymore, or at least not on this schedule. Put them on the Ric Flair once in a blue moon, the Hulk Hogan once in a blue moon schedule. All right, at the very least, if you're not going to release them and focus on the younger talent. I'm all for the legends. If we're talking about Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, they have a place as a manager, an occasional match, but the Wolfpack can't be taking up a lot of wrestling time. It's not very entertaining. They're not really doing anything with them. So we'll see where they fit into that whole equation at Lockdown. That should be interesting. Are they going to come out, side with Team Hogan or Team Flair? There's going to be something big going down at Lockdown. So we'll find out. But that segment sort of slowed down Impact for me. We'll see where they go with it. Like I said, not as bad as previous weeks. Shannon Moore. This is when Impact really impressed me. Shannon Moore had a hell of a match with Kazarian. This was a great match from beginning to end. I would give it at least 3 stars. That was a quality match. And I was surprised they let it go as long as they did. It was a time limit draw, I believe 10 minutes. So 10 minutes is a long time for them to let guys wrestle, sadly, these days. But they did, and it was a great match. TNA needs more of that. Also, they had Doug Williams on commentary, and he did a great job. The X Division champ, Doug Williams. Phenomenal job. They need more mic time for him, personality time for him. He was ripping on the X Division wrestlers. It was great. What I thought was funny, though, to show you how poorly TNA really has prepared for their Lockdown pay-per-view, Taz was explaining to everyone that it would be a 3-way match between Kaz, Shannon Moore, and X Division champion Doug Williams. Before it was just supposed to be Kaz. He was the #1 contender. And Taz says, "That's weird." And then he said, "Out of nowhere, we have a 3-way match." So I thought it was a little funny. Good job, Taz. Out of nowhere is right, because that 3-way match in the booking is out of nowhere. No hype at all or build up for it until right now, the week before the pay-per-view. So very sloppy, like I always say, for TNA. Very sloppy job. But this match was awesome. This segment was awesome. It's too bad they weren't feeding that storyline from previous weeks coming into this, because Lockdown, their match would be a little better hyped anyway. That's my take. Jay Lethal is one of the best parts, if not the best part, of TNA Impact. He's getting a lot of camera time, and I love it. He keeps doing these, imaginary cards, or he has keeps naming these older wrestlers. This week he named the Dynamite Kid, which is great. One of my favorite old-timers, classics. Perhaps one of the greatest wrestlers, if not the best ever, as far as technical skill and ring ability go, if you ask me. So anyway, that was great. Jay Lethal, dead on with the Randy Savage, and when he's in there with Hogan, it's great. They made a reference to the song that Randy Savage made, Be a Man Hulk. If any of you guys remember that, that's when Randy made a diss song, a rap diss song on Hulk Hogan. I guess Hogan still remembers that, and he brought it up. That was pretty cool. I like that. And I like those segments with Jay Lethal. Keep him on TV and give him more, although he got jumped a little later. We'll get to that. The Knockouts division is trash. We talked about the lockbox thing last week. We're not going to talk about the Knockouts anymore until they establish a little bit of respect in that division for the wrestling and the program and some continuity, something coherent. Right now it seems just like it's, porno TV. We're going to skip over that. Matt Morgan finally picked a tag team partner, the Amazing Red. Hey, it's like Showmiz here, They took on the Motor City Machine Guns, and they beat the Motor City Machine Guns, and then Matt Morgan turned on Amazing Red. I guess Amazing Red got the pin first, and he really beat him down pretty hard. So I thought they might go with that tag team for a second. Amazing Red, kind of funny to see him. He was ready to turn heel, part of the tag team champions, and he got a beat down by Matt Morgan. So we'll see where they go. Matt Morgan's a good wrestler. I think he's a good entertainer, good on the mic. Lots of potential with Matt Morgan. I don't think he should have the tag team titles because you're just throwing away your tag team titles by giving them to one person. But, whatever. And also, you didn't need to have the Motor City Machine Guns in that match. You could have just had a regular, two guys jobbing out to Matt Morgan and Amazing Red. You didn't have to do that to the Motor City Machine Guns. At least build them up. They're a real tag team. They're actually put together. They have a name. It's not Morgan and, Flavor of the Week or Morgan and Hernandez. So try to concentrate a little bit more on those sorts of things. They're small, but they do matter, TNA. Also, here's another good match. Jeff Hardy and Robert Roode. Two wrestlers who I like a lot. I think they're both great in ring and on the microphone. I wish Robert Roode would do a little bit more than just wrestle tag team matches. With Beer Money, he has so much potential. We'll see where they go with him. But this was an outstanding match. James Storm came out at the end and got involved. But again, at least they're sticking Team Flair versus Team Hogan. And it was a great match. So another positive thing. So good positives, a lot of positives, not too many negatives tonight on TNA Impact. At the end, we were supposed to see the Pope and Jay Lethal take on AJ Styles and Desmond Wolfe. We didn't get to see that match because Jay Lethal was jumped in the back, and the Pope decided, I guess, that he did not care because he waited in the ring while Jay Lethal put up a hell of a fight, but finally got messed up and the bottle busted in his head from Beer Money. So Pope should have really got on his high horse and headed to the back to help him out, because I know they have the TV stuff, the monitors on over there. Somebody would have told him. Ridiculous. So the Pope should have made the save. I guess I'm being a little bit of a Lethal mark here because I like Lethal so much now. So that's kudos to TNA for that. So the Pope is doing a hell of a job pretty much beating AJ Styles down. Ric Flair comes out on his wheelchair, gets out of his wheelchair. What do you know? Huh? What a shocker. Ric Flair's faking it. And I like this wheelchair thing. They should do this with Flair all the time. Sunday for Lockdown, he should be back in that wheelchair again. That should be his gimmick. I'm hurt. I have to be wheeled down here. And then he hops up when the time is right. So I like the Ric Flair wheelchair thing. I think it's awesome. Overall tonight, like I said, that segment was a little sloppy. But again, at least they were building up towards the Pope versus AJ Styles. That was the end. So they were focusing on their heavyweight title. It seemed like it got a little bit cleaned up. Did they hear the criticism within the day, before the taping? Because the last Impact was piss poor, and this one was pretty decent. I was surprised, and TNA had me hooked tonight. So I'm going to give tonight's TNA Impact a C+. That's all for tonight. TNA Impact was pretty good. It was a big bounce back show from last week and the week before, which were Fs. Terrible. So, I'm glad I finally got to say something decent about TNA because I didn't really like bashing it, but I had to. So the product got a little better tonight. Let's hope it continues. Are you ready for Lockdown? I'm a little excited. I think something big is going to happen at Lockdown. We're at least going to see where they are all going with this. See you guys on Sunday night for the Lockdown pay-per-view review. I'm Big Al, and this has been your TNA Impact Report.